Welcome to Sty Times. Hey, folks, it is so good to see y'all. It's awesome. It's always awesome to see you great folks out there. Yeah, here we go. Another Sty Times. Well, yeah, this is number 32, episode 32. That means that Sty's been talking for 32 hours. Ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? Hey, I got to shout out all my early birds that showed up to the show right from the get go, right after I posted it up. And as most of you are aware, I posted the notice of the show that the show's going to start at a certain time 2 hours prior to the show starting so that all my audience has a good opportunity to know that, hey, that's Sty Times today. That's right. But I always get certain folks, they like to pop in so early and just say something, so I know that they're going to be here, right? And today, David Jones was the first one in there, and he says, "You're damn right." He's referring to the topic this evening. And then Barnyard Chicken jumped in. 99 minutes away, LOL. Yeah, hour and a half ago. um, Eileen Valou says, "I'm here." Kirk Whipper, Voyager Center. Tim, awesome. Love seeing you. Chasing the Reaper. There's James. That's great to see. Oh, Chrysler Imperial. Thank you. Thank you so much. Um, Updating his channel membership. That is great. He's a hiker. He's a hiker. He's great. Yeah. The let's see. Then Saucy Shane, there he is. Hey brother, great to see you. Always great to see Shane. Gemma's Journey Grace, hey sweetheart, it's good to see you, girl. JCT, I hope you're having a good day, JCT. There's everything spicy. There's Phil, the sure out driving. Oh, he's behind the wheel. Goofball. Listen, don't watch, and don't chat. Everything spicy. Hey, keep your eyes out for when he posts, because tonight it's the grand finale of. Man, he's been eating super hot rummy bears for 10 days. Tonight's the 10th day. Yeah, he's a great guy, but he's a little cuckoo. That guy. Yeah. Hey, Aiden, great to see you, Aiden. Awesome to have you here with us all. Well, folks, yeah, it's another day. Oh, JCT, another day in no car. I can't wait to hear that you got wheels. That'll be so nice. Hey, bacon stuffed donut, it's awesome. Um, yeah, I'm sure everything spicy's stomach is not happy with him right now. The Jim is saying life isn't fair. That's for sure, especially the autism community being attacked on social media. Yeah, and we're going to really get into life isn't fair this evening. We're jumping into that right now. Well, yeah, guess what? Life isn't fair. Life isn't fair. I'm a firm believer from the moment we're born, right from our birth, life in general is going to be unfair. There's always something. There's always something or someone that's going to affect our lives where we feel this is just unfair. It's just unfair. And the examples of life being unfair are endless, are absolutely endless. I tried to do an outline for this evening's program, and I got so overwhelmed with the examples of life not being fair that I put into my outline that I tore it up, man. I deleted it. I had printed it off. I was going to tape it to my studio here. And I thought, I can't tape 6 pages, single line of all the examples of how life isn't fair. So I just tore it up, got rid of it. And I decided I'm going to do this episode literally off the cuff. Off the cuff. It's just off the cuff. Okay. Hey, I got a real quick. I got to shout out Kill It Creations. Great to see you. Mike's Outdoors and Adventures. Awesome. Awesome. Love you folks. Love you folks. Thank you for being here. The one thing I have learned over the years, and I've got a few under my belt now, is that life is only as fair as we can make it. Life is just naturally unfair. You can count on it being unfair. Now, I have over the years had a couple of people say, "Oh, life has always been fair to me." And I asked them, I said, "So you're trying to say that you've never had in your lifetime a moment that you said, well, that's not fair?" And they said, "No, I don't." And then they'd hesitate and they go, "Oh, well, yeah, yeah." And I told them exactly, because nobody can get through life without, at one time or another, having someone or something treat us unfairly. So, what do we do? What do we do? It seems to be that the natural reaction is, we need to make this fair. We need to make this fair. That's not always the wisest approach. And I'm going to get into that a little more as we go on with tonight's episode. When I was growing up, I can't believe my two grandfathers, they didn't see eye to eye at all. One was a woodsman. I mean, typical in those days, typical blue-collar worker. He was a boiler maker. He handled big steam boilers, and he had a sawmill at one time, and a very large sawmill. And he wanted to become a boiler maker so that he wouldn't have to hire one for his sawmill. Well, when he shut his sawmill down, he realized he could use that ability as a boiler maker to work in any line of work that involved big boilers. So that it was to his advantage, right? But his heart was in the outdoors. It was in the logging industry. It was always in the outdoors. There's a big history on that old boy. But my other grandfather was a farmer. He grew up as a farmer, became a farmer in his own right, and that's what he did his whole life, was farming. And his heart was in, eventually, electronics. But back in the day when electronics were nothing like we have today. But the two of those men never seemed to see eye to eye on anything. But one time, and I'll never forget it, the two of them were talking, away, and I'm sitting there. I always was in the middle, you know. I wanted to learn anything I could from those old boys. And I got to yell a hello to Crazy Ann. It is so sweet to see you, Crazy Ann. Thank you for coming in. Oh, it's so good to see her. Yeah, everybody loves our Crazy Ann. The but talking with these two old boys, and one of the two of them asked me. He said, he said, "Did you get to go to the carnival this last weekend?" And I said, "No, I didn't get to go." I said, "My dad, he was on duty all weekend, and he couldn't take me, and I couldn't find a ride. I couldn't hitch a ride with anybody. Not for lack of trying. It just didn't work out, and there was just no way I could go to the carnival. All my buddies went, all the neighbor kids went. But I didn't get to go." And I said, "I think that's pretty. I I thought it was pretty unfair that everybody that I knew got to go to the carnival. I didn't. I sat at home, played in the backyard all alone. Everybody was off the carnival." And I said, "It's just not right. It was unfair." Both of those old boys, I finally got to see them agree on something. Both of them told me, they said, "One thing you got to learn right now, Sty, life's not fair. There are going to be times when you are left out or something works against you, and you're going to feel that is not fair." And they said, "But what it is life. That is life. Things being unfair is just the way it is." And I said, "But they should do something to make it fair." Both of them said, both of them totally agree. If you want to try to fix unfair, you're going to end up being unfair to somebody. It's best that you see that, don't repeat it, and that's what will make it more fair in the future, by you not repeating something that created an unfairness. But to try to force someone else to make things fair for you will backfire, because it might feel fair to you, but they had to hurt somebody else, make it unfair for somebody else to make it fair for you. Now, later in the show, I'm going to get into the details of how that really happens. And some people I've talked to on this topic before have said, "I've never even realized, never even thought of it that way, that sometimes to make things fair, you have to be unfair somewhere else. There's a trade off, because life isn't fair, and it's going to not be fair to somebody. If it's not going to be you, it'll be somebody else, because life doesn't care how we feel. Life happens, and unfairness is something that we have to learn to live with, deal with. It hurts to be treated unfairly, but it only hurts as much as we'll allow it to hurt. The one thing that is fair is each and every one of us have the ability to say, "Piss on it. I don't care. You were unfair to me. I don't. Fine. Fine. I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on. And I'm never going down that trail with you again, because you're just unfair." That is the one thing that is truly fair. each of us have that ability to say, I'm not going to put up with it. I'm not going to deal with your unfairness. I'm going elsewhere. I'm not going to even try to force you to change, because I'm afraid that forcing you to change might become unfair to somebody else. You might treat somebody else very fairly, but if I force you to treat me more fairly, you're going to take it away from them and apply it to me, and all of a sudden they're neglected, they're treated unfairly. So that's the what link are you talking about outside of YouTube? The GoFundMe link, was that it? No, they won't shut my. If it's the GoFundMe link, they will not shut my program down. We have been posting the GoFundMe link for ever since within the first couple of days after the it was up. The GoFundMe link has been in my chat dozens of times per show ever since the fire, within days of the fire. And it has never been flagged once. No, YouTube doesn't like you linking out to other places away from their platform, but Google does not restrict you from doing it, but it does play into your analytics. If it's too often, it plays into your analytics, so they won't share your videos out as much. YouTube won't suggest them as much, but they do that where it says message deleted by the Google moderator team. They do that. They deleted. I'm the host, and I put a hello to somebody out there, and it said message deleted by Google moderator team. They will randomly do that. They'll randomly do that, and it has nothing to do with what the comment was. It just picks something and it'll do that. So, me Dibble, it is great to see you. It is absolutely great to see you. And there's a good example. Google just randomly picking something, and yeah. No, I understand, Gemma. I understand, because that's the way it appears in the chat with what Google's saying, that it's their moderator turn. Give it a few minutes, Eileen, and then give it another try. Yeah. And they don't shut your stream down for it. It's nothing to do with the GoFundMe too. Yeah, and that's right. I've had it happen on many of my streams where the Google moderator team comes in and deletes a message that somebody left, and it was a perfectly fine message. There's nothing that violated the YouTube rules of service or anything. So yeah, it's not something new. So no need to worry about it. Yeah, that's all I want folks to understand. And if you want to talk about life isn't fair, there's one right there. Stuff happens and we go, that ain't fair. That ain't right. It's how do we deal with it's not fair? Well, we move on. Life has not I don't know anybody, like I said, I don't know anybody that hasn't experienced life isn't fair. I don't know anybody. Now, I know people that say, my life's been a lot more fair than others that I know. Well, that's true. That's true. Yeah, Saucy Shane, perfect timing. the but some people's lives just seem so much more unfair, right? Now, people can be so unfair. People can, in general. But for a moment, let's take people out of the equation. Take people completely out of the equation. Life without people, just you, people had nothing to do with it. Life is unfair. It's unfair. When I was growing up, the JCT, I love it. I'm human, not a channel. That's, yeah, yeah. The when I was growing up, we had a severe storm go through, a tornado, and it caused a lot of damage, ton of damage. Oh, well, it wiped out 3 communities. Our community just got glanced by it. Our home, the tornado was maybe about 10 blocks from our home, but it still caused a lot of damage. The but we looked up and down the street that we lived on, and almost every house was untouched. Yeah, Eileen. Yeah, I'd give up on it for today. The but the thing is, our house got all this damage, and all these other homes undamaged. And I can remember that all of us in our family going, "Well, that's not fair." I mean, for crying out loud, we got all this cleanup and work to do now to fix things, and everybody else, they weren't damaged. That doggone tornado picked our place. That's not fair. That was unfair. Life is unfair. Yeah, life is not fair. It picked us. Why? We don't know. Why not? I mean, why didn't it pick the neighbor? Was the tornado being fair to them but not to us? That's just the way it is. Life isn't fair, and sometimes we fall victim to it. And the the fact that things happen naturally. I mean, floods, hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, and every one of those situations, you find these people where they were basically out of harm's way, but they got damaged. Mother Nature wasn't fair, picked them out of a whole neighborhood and wiped them out. Life isn't fair. It's just not fair. And then you put people back in the mix. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. People can be so unfair, right? People have a tendency in general to not want to have to worry about whether they're being fair or not, because I think we all feel that most other people, they don't care if it's fair or not, as long as they're out front and everything's going good for them. If something's not fair for you, that's kind of your problem. That's the way a lot of people look at it. Because none of us as individuals want to be treated unfairly. I'm the kind of person where please treat me fairly or don't treat me at all. Just, just leave me out of it. I'm not going to feel bad because you exclude me. I'm not going to say that's unfair. If you're doing it to avoid being unfair, if you're saying, well, yeah, Sty, you'll want to step out of this one because, yeah, it wouldn't be fair for you to be involved. Okay. Now, a lot of people would say, leaving me out, well, that's unfair. You can't have it both ways. It's unfair or unfair. Take the least of the unfair and live with it. Accept that and be glad that it wasn't more unfair than what it appeared, The the Me Dibble says, I have my own lie is not fair like everyone. I have a genetic disorder. It's just something that just happens. It's not fair, but it's life. Exactly. Me Dibble has it figured out. That's exactly right. The and that's it. Is some of us have things about ourselves. It might be a physical condition, a health condition, all kinds of different things that other people in general don't have to deal with. And it feels very unfair. It's unfair that they can do these things and that and that. But because of my condition, I can't do that. Okay. Okay. Like Me Dibble says, it's not fair, but it's life. Make the most and the best of your life you can. And that's where I said way in the beginning. A lot of times, life is only as fair as we make it. Now, I knew an individual, handicapped individual. Some people don't like the term handicap. I'm sorry, but it's common language. And he uses the term handicap, so I don't feel bad whatsoever. Hey, Guani, it's good to see you. He's quadriplegic. He's got the use of his hands to a degree. His left hand, he can't use his fingers. He can on his right hand use them to a limited degree. But boy, can he sit there and play PlayStation, man. He's got this super expensive, awesome wheelchair that I mean, it's space age, this thing. It can raise them up and tip them any which way but loose, and it does everything he wants it to. He sits in front of his oh, he sits in front of. I'm going to shout somebody out here in just a second, but he sits in front of his big screen. He's got a 75-inch. I got a 65. His is 75. He sits there and he'll play PlayStation 8 or 10 hours a day. And he plays all different types of games. He's all over the place on there playing. Now, we both have acquaintances that there's nothing wrong with them whatsoever. They've got good lives. Their health is good. And guess what? They say, that isn't fair. That is not fair. He can sit there and play that PlayStation 8 or 10 hours a day. When the heck we ever have that opportunity? That is not fair that he's able to do it. That's why he's so good, because he can do it. That's not fair that he can spend all that time and we can't. Now, to tell me what's fair about that, the man doesn't have the use of his legs. very limited use of his arms, almost no use of his hands. And he's stuck in that chair for his entire life. But he's got one of the best attitudes because he says, the only time you hear him say, "Oh, that isn't fair," is when somebody beats him in a game on PS4. I love the man to death. I love the man to death. I knew him before he ended up injured. And he, after coming through all of that and being what he is today, said, well, no, it was unfair when it happened, but that's gone. That's over. Now I have to make life as fair as possible to me. And I do it by playing PlayStation. He says, and sometimes it's not fair. He says, some guys are just so much better than me. He's got such a wonderful, wonderful attitude. Okay, I got to shout this person out. Check this out, folks. Look at this. That is so super. Mike, you are absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. That goes so far. That goes so far for supporting the channel. That really does. The my overhead for getting summer ready got a little exceeded, and thanks to all you folks and all my members, it's going to be an absolute success this summer. It's going to be just wonderful because of you people. Because of you people, you treating me so much more than fair. I love it. You're wonderful. You're wonderful. So folks, it's that time. Hey, Spice and Easy. It is nice to see you. I got to get an order in. I got to get some Reaper Double X curry for this summer out at camp. It's a little beyond halftime, which minutes, we're not dealing with any big issue here. And I just got to shout out all my wonderful members. And it only takes about a minute. So don't go anywhere and check out these great channels. And I'll be right back with you. Hey, it's good to be back. See, it was so short and simple. Wonderful channels, though. Wonderful folks. I always got to shout them out in Sty Times. Hey, Kaffa, it's awesome to see you. Awesome. JCT made a comment. I have nothing to offer. And then Saucy Shane said, JCT, yes, you do. And I have to agree with Saucy Shane. JCT, I wouldn't know what to do without your little video clips you pop up. It's just, if I miss one, I feel really bad. I got to get there, watch it. They're short, but they're wonderful. And I got to give that thumbs up every time and give you that watch time. And so many of them I've watched 2, 3 times because I just love what you're sharing with us. And that right there, JCT, you've come into a community that truly loves to show its love for each other. And that's one thing, when my topic for this evening, life isn't fair. One thing in on my channel I ask of everybody is to treat each other fairly. It's within your power to be fair to others. And with that, the easiest way to make sure that you're being fair is treat each and every person you're in contact with respect. Sty's number one rule on his channel. Just show respect to each other, and fairness will come along with it. Okay, let's get into the issue of of how us trying to force things to be fair can be very unfair. Very unfair. Now, this example, and I know a lot of people might argue with it, but it's just the way it was, and to me, the way it is. We had one of our schools in where I live up here that the hey, but I have not been well for the last few days, so I'll catch you all later. Me Dibble saying, "Hey, me Dibble, you have a good evening. Thank you for being here. Thank you, and I hope you start feeling better. The really do." But this school decided, because just a few, it was like 3 parents were very concerned and upset because their children would come home and say, "I didn't do good in such a thing." It would be some physical activity of some sort or something, extracurricular things. Or it'd be simply in a gym class or something, and they have an activity, and they tell their parents, "I didn't do well." And it's always so and so. They're the winner all the time. Well, most of the time, they're really good. They're the best, but it's just not fair. It's just not fair. Some of us just can't do it like they do. So the school opted to eliminate the use of winner, everything from winner to loser. There's no first place, second place, third place, and there's no losers. Whenever they did an activity that they would usually give an award for, now everybody got a participation award. Guess what happened? Some of these kids that were just so talented and excelled in things, their activity level dropped way down. Their grade scores in unrelated classes dropped. In a sense, it dumbed down all of the top level talented kids. So they thought, well, we got to fix that. So they thought we got to study it and find out why. Well, the result is these kids that used to come in first, second, third place felt it was unfair. I played this game with my whole heart and I did the best and I came out on top. I had the most points and I got this participation award. And so did that kid that sat on the bench and said, I don't think I'll go out there. And didn't play. But that they got the same award. So the kid that put their whole heart into it, everything they had into it, felt that it was unfair to them, that they should be classified with someone that didn't put any effort in. It was just unfair. And so what they did was they took one unfairness and traded it for a new one, is all they did. So they decided that's kind of terrible that that's the way it turned out. And several members of the school board said, I think we ought to go back to the old way. Oh no, these parents that their kids felt unfairly treated because they couldn't excel like some of the other kids were still totally upset, and they liked it the new way. Well, of course they did, because their kids liked it. Well, so the school board decided, we got the answer. We'll take the kids that excel and we'll divide them out from the kids that don't excel, and then they don't have to compete against each other. That rolled right over into the classrooms where kids that are B and A students, we're going to segregate them and test them at this level. And all the kids below that, we're going to segregate them and test them at this level, so that we don't have the A and B students standing out from the C and D students. They took it from physical competition into literary and educational competition. Some people are just smart. I mean, they're just smart. The rest of us, we just get through life, you know. And that's just the way it is. But if they put a lot of effort in to become that smart, shouldn't they be at least given a good pat on the back? But you don't pat the kid on the back that's looking out the window, screwing off all through class and always fails. You don't give him an equal pat on the back, because that's not real. It's just not real. Somebody's going to feel it's unfair, that life isn't fair. Well, they went through that for a couple of years, trying to figure out, how do we make everybody feel that it's fair? And then they found out the hard way, guess what? Life isn't fair. We're going back to the way it was. And they did. They went right back to where they were. Now they've got winners, losers. They've got first, second, third place, fourth, fifth place. Honorable mention. I see Saucy Shane mention that. They kept the participation awards if you played. If you were actively involved, you got a participation award. If you didn't land in any of those other ranks, okay? So really, even the losers got a participation award because they were there and they participated. So they got recognition for it. And everybody, again, was, for the most part, happy, knowing that, yeah, it might seem unfair, that life isn't fair, but that is life. That is life. It's not the award. A barnyard chicken saying it's not the award, it's how they were treating others that were not as good as them. See, now I hear that argument a lot, and I can only speak to my own life's experiences. When I was all the way through school, I mean, right from kindergarten right till senior in high school, I excelled in a few areas of athletics, but all of us, we were taught, we took the kids that didn't excel, we took them under our wings and we helped them in any way we could. We wanted them to play. We wanted, if we had a kid sitting on the bench because he was afraid, because he might embarrass himself, because he just doesn't play that good, we'd build them up and say, come on, get out here on the field. You got to play, man. You got to get out here and play with us. Come on. You know, the world should be bigger than that. If people that excel in something put other people down that don't excel like they do, then they're worse for the wear. And they're not showing any respect. It goes right back to what I said, my number one rule. Show respect, and fairness usually follows. And I am totally against anybody that excels in something to rub that in the nose of someone that does not. Now, when I ran my wilderness school, my clients, over 80% of my clients would show up totally green. I mean, it was really odd because I had almost 60% of my clients had never even camped. They had never done anything outdoors. I had a lot of city folk come to my wilderness camp and they had to rough it. But there was always one in every group. He'd been out there doing this for years. He's a avid outdoorsman or bushcrafter, ton of skills. And all these guys that are new at it are going, man, oh man, look at how easy it is for him. And I'd step right in and say to that person, I need your help. I need your help. These folks need your help. I need you to share your ability with them. Give them some pointers, help them out, work with them. And they'd say, well, that's not my job. Well, yes, it is. They're people. They're people, and they need to be cared about and respected just like anybody else. And it always worked out great. Hey, OG son, great to see you. Hey, Jimmy, the it didn't happen where you live. That's sad. That's sad. And I've heard people say in their circumstances, in their location where they were, that's the way it was. I know of some high schools back in my days when I was in high school that you had the jocks in the school that everybody else was way below them. And that's one thing I did like about our school is our jocks were cool. I mean, they you take these guys under your wing, like I said, and well, we were taught respect, and respect was expected. You get what you give, and that was number one rule. If you're not going to show respect, don't expect it back. I have that all the time, especially with seniors, with elders. They say, you need to respect your elders. Well, yes, you do. Absolutely, you do. Unless they're not respectful. Being respectful is the first part. Give people something to respect. Don't expect to be respected if you're not going to give it back. And there's a lot of cranky old farts out there that they seem to think that everybody in the world should respect them just because of their age. No, 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 no. At 95, you don't deserve any more respect than you do at 5. We all deserve respect, no matter what our age, if we share that respect with others. That's the way it is. Sorry, but life isn't fair. And for me, I I'm one that I just like people. I just like people, and I've run into people that, boy, they'll just treat you so unfair all the time, and then I kind of attach myself to them and point out to them how unfair they're being. And hello, Donald Morris, and it's surprising. It's surprising. It's so easy for us. I know I've been guilty of it to not realize that I'm actually being unfair to someone. And sometimes it needs to be pointed out. Hey, that's not very fair. You're not being fair to me. To do that. Well, you can't unfair it. But in the future, I get it. Yeah. I see why that made you feel unfair. There may be something I can do about that. I can maybe treat you with a little more respect. Maybe I can be a little more fair to you, right? Yeah. Because only we can make life a little more fair. We can't change fairness. We can't. Yet people want to redefine what's fair and then try to create a new fairness. And like I told you in that example, if you create a new fairness, somebody is going to get treated unfairly in that process. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. You cannot force fairness. It has to happen naturally. And I'm a firm believer that comes with respect for each other. Hey, Patreon Pirate, it's great to see you. Maine Mountain Man, awesome. Hello. Welcome to the show. The And it's not that hard. It's not that hard to respect people, show a little fairness. I saw these kids in the park. We lived across from a community park, and the kids all hung out there. It's got the slides and the swings and the monkey bars, all that good stuff. And the kids all clustered over there. And I was a property manager, and that park was part of the property I managed. And I just stopped there and did a walkthrough one day. I wanted to make sure my maintenance guys were keeping it clean and maintained. So I was just doing a walkthrough. And there was this fairly good sized group of kids. If I remember right, there was like 15 of them. And I hadn't counted heads, but I knew there was, it's about 15. And here's this group, 4 kids. They're all from the same family. They come running into that group. Look at what we got. Look at what we got. Now, this is typical. This is kids, you got to think it's kids. They all had ice cream bars, right? They all had ice cream bars. All 4 of them. All them other kids, it's a hot summer day. All them other kids are like, oh, wow, man, they got ice cream. That's just not fair. The whole point of it is, well, life isn't fair. Their parents got them ice cream. Hopefully your parents will get you ice cream. But I could tell there were some kids in that group. I bet you they don't get ice cream. I bet you those kids, their parents aren't giving them ice cream. I know the families. And I decided, okay, okay, I'm going to try to teach these kids a lesson. I jumped in my rig and I zipped down to the Dairy Queen and I bought 24 dilly bars, ice cream bars, and zipped my tail right back there because it's hot out. I don't want them buggers melting. I got there, walked out there with these 24 dilly bars, and I yelled out, "Hey kids, anybody want an ice cream bar? Better grab it now, they're melting." Them kids that couldn't believe it, they're almost all of them come running over. A few of them just stood there, and I yelled at the ones that were just standing out there, not coming. And I'm going, that includes you guys. Come on over. Those 4 that had their ice cream bar, they had long had it finished by the time I got back. Those 4, they were just standing there, and they're smiling at all these kids coming for their ice cream bars. I didn't say anything. I handed out all the ice cream bars to every kid that wanted one. And I walked over to those 4 and I said, I got about 8 of these left. I said, you guys, come on, each grab one. And they said, but no, we already had our ice cream. They didn't. I said, no, that's right. You had your ice cream. This is my ice cream. So, and I got ice cream for everybody. That summer, those kids in that playground, whenever I'd come around, they'd come up to me. Guess what we did, Sty? We cleaned the playground today. We picked this up, did that, and da. And I noticed their behavior towards each other totally changed. They started respecting each other a little more, and they showed me a ton of respect because life isn't fair unless we take little steps to make it a little more fair. We can't change what fair and unfair is, but we can take the impact off a little bit once in a while. And what did it cost me? It might have cost me $25 or something like that to give those kids ice cream for a day. Kids, majority of them I didn't know personally, but it made a point to them. It made a point to them that everybody got one. That guy made sure everybody got one. Nobody got left out. Well, sometimes you can do that. Not always, but when you can, take advantage of it. Enjoy life to its fullest because life isn't fair. So every minute you have the opportunity. Show somebody a little respect and be as fair as you possibly can. And it'll come back. It'll come back to you. And don't be afraid. Pat yourself on the back if somebody comes back to you and shows you a little extra respect and fairness because of your actions. So there you go. I want to thank all of you for being here at Sty Times. Friday, Sty Times at 5 p.m. Central Time. Love you all. Hope to see you there. You watch this few second clip at the tail end, and you will see what the next topic is for Friday. Love y'all, and I really want you to take care until I see you again. Bye bye, folks.